across the street. I named him
I've always known the power of women.
Cola Negra, Señor Cola
I was
Negra.
raised
Mr.
with
Blacktail.
7 of them. I have 7 sisters.
And when I say Mr. Blacktail,
6.
I see some shiny
No.
foreheads there.
No, I was the
Guess
only.
they should have
I was the only
powdered
boy.
my head there first.
All right.
And-
Good evening. We're here gathered.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about all kinds of police public, community-based we'll let them talk about it, but anyway, we're gonna introduce yourselves and give us a little bio about your background, where you come from, how you wound up as a police officer, which is senior police officers, all of you.
Yes,
I see you got a couple of those hash marks on.
a couple of them.
I can't remember how much each one is.
For each.
4 each.
Yes.
Same thing as in the military down there.
Yes.
So, if y'all can tell us, plus we got Gloria Moreno, Pedernales Neighborhood Association President.
thank you.
Let's take a second a little bit more of this air. I get that works so quick. Anyway, go ahead, ma'am. Lead us off. You're the quiet one. I've noticed ever since we came and started, you've been the quiet one, so I'm gonna let you lead us off.
I am Officer Angela Johnson, Racine Johnson. I've been with the police department for just about 12 years, just over 11 and a half years. And I am in the Police Activities League of Austin unit with, which is PAL. And these are my coworkers.
Where are you originally from?
Yeah,
Originally?
Yes.
I am originally from Illinois.
Okay. Northern
By
girl.
way of-
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of different places, but I've been in Texas for, let's see, 15 years now. So
You have 10 more years before you're officially a Texan.
before I'm officially a Texan. So I came here. I worked for a call center when I first came here. I managed an area in a call center, and decided that I wanted to have a secure job, and I applied with the Austin Police Department, and I'm here.
You never got the weight trucks or anything like that?
No, sir.
At first they started it was the LW, and they called it the lazy and worthless unit.
Oh.
But they were always, anyway, so that's pretty good. How you like it so far?
I love it. I love it.
Well, Paula's the only one I actually know because she's been out in Dust Springs many times.
Yes.
And every now and then I do manage to get out of the house and hobble on down somewhere. So I
Oh, I
have seen her
thought there were calls to your house.
Responding, yeah.
Not yet.
Okay, all
I
right.
already told her we won't talk about the 2 warrants I got.
Okay, all right.
You know, from 7 years ago when I was an outlaw truck driver, I think one of them was, I never wore my seatbelt. My mud flap too short. What's one my wife likes? Mud flap sailing. Revenue, that's like I told you, you can never be in compliance. Anyway, Paula, I'm going off too.
Oh, no problem. Senior police officer, Paula Aguilar. I've been an officer for 19 years with APD 9. I'm from the Valley. I'm from McAllen, Texas. I come from a family of 11. I have 6 sisters and 4 brothers. I was one of first to go to college from my family, my generation. I was a migrant worker since I was 12 years old to 16, 17 years old. And so I was always there helping my family until I moved to Houston, city of Bel Air, and I became interested in becoming a police officer. And it was a struggle, but I made it, and I've been here in Austin since 96.
That is an inspiring story.
What was the reaction from the familia? Police, Chicana,
yes.
come on, what?
They were very excited. I remember bringing my father out on ride-alongs, and he would wear all black, and he was my backup there, just watching me. Yes, when I was making an arrest or something, I said, "Dad, just stay there. Don't do anything. If I get into any trouble, this is what you do." So, but no, they were very proud of me.
Were you in the middle?
I
or
was the fifth.
The fifth, okay.
child.
All
So
right.
yes, they were very proud of me, and they continue to be. I get a lot of support from my family.
That's wonderful.
Well, like I say, McAllen always has 2 in Austin. A state legislator.
That's right, yeah.
You know, he's from McAllen, so we
We're
always
not gonna get
say.
political, but yeah, there's a. That's right. Let's
Eddie Rodriguez from McAllen. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I won't ask you if you ever get to wrestle drunks and stuff like that.
Well, right now I don't. Right now I do a lot of soccer with the
You got
kids in the
nice
community.
soft job now, huh?
Yes, I do. It's before this I was a district rep in the Dove Springs area. So, but then a month ago I became a PAL officer, and I enjoy it. I have over 300 kids playing soccer. It's a free program for them, and it's really nice because when we have our games or when we have our events with soccer, mom, dad, the whole family's there. So that's very nice to see. And then of course we have that relationship with the police department as well. So it's very nice.
Pizza.
Pizza.
May I ask a question? Do you have a lot of parental involvement?
Yes, I do.
I wanted to declare them out first.
Yes.
so we can start
Okay,
asking
sorry.
You're just jumping in with questions today. You're ready to go.
I will answer
been
It's
that.
okay. I was
will
gonna.
answer
I
that
would
after-
defer to
after
you. I
officer.
would have gladly let you
Go
go.
ahead. Let her answer. Because you know what happens?
She'll forget.
We run into a lot of Bush moments where
We get
or
those
Perry
senior moments. Yeah.
Yeah,
we call it
senior
out.
Go ahead and answer.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna say. With the program that I have, a lot of my parents are Spanish speakers.
Uh-huh.
I'm a fluent Spanish speaker.
Right.
And again, we get that trust
Good.
where I get those phone calls from the parents. Now, not afraid to talk to the police
That's
or to
wonderful.
report a crime, or that they are victims themselves. You know,
Right.
of,
And that's a big step forward.
it is a very big step.
If they have that trust.
Yes, and I also do the neighborhood watch as well. So
That's
I explain to them, you know, this is we can't have this at home, you know, or this is, I explain the city codes or city ordinances at the same time with my Spanish speakers, with the parents.
Right.
So yes, there is a lot of involvement.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And I also do, I haven't done one recently, but I also do neighborhood watch training in Spanish
Good.
on how to report crime, when to call 911
And
or
that's very
311.
important.
So that's very important, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
It's all
you.
yours.
All me. Hey, I'm Officer Phil Contatore, Senior Police Officer Phil Contatore. I've been with the department since 2001. Born in New York, raised in Nebraska. Go Cornhuskers.
And a Cornhusker too.
You know, you got to bring corn. I've been, of course, I call myself a Texan now because I've been here over 25 years, so I can call myself a Texan now. And love Texas and have no plans on leaving this state. Best place to be in the world. I became a police officer, like I said, in 2001, did patrol for a few years, went to recruiting, spent 3 years in recruiting, and then came over as the founding president and the current executive director to the Police Activities League. Nonprofit supported. We have a nonprofit board of directors that provides our funding, and then we get our direction for programming through the department.
Good.
What years were you at your 18, 19, 20th year? And was the police job something?
Do I have to tell that? I might get in trouble. No. Where was I in my 19th or 20th year? Wow, that's been so long ago that I have to think about where I was. In my early 20s. I believe I was still in Nebraska in my early 20s.
I mean, but was being a police officer something that you had a vision in?
You know, I always hate to tell this cheesy story, but I'll tell this cheesy story because I remember the day that I decided I was going to be a police officer. Absolutely not a doubt in my mind. I can remember. I was walking across the street in New York City. My mom was on one side of the street and I was on the other, and it wasn't a very busy street, and Mom looked both ways, and by the way, I think she was trying to kill me. Mom looked both ways and said, "Okay, honey, come on across, and can I go running across that street?" And pow, I got hit by a car.
Oh, no.
A little Volkswagen. It was yellow, by the way. I still remember that. Now, mind you, I was pretty young. I was probably maybe a fourth grader at the time. I tumbled up over the car and was laying in the street, and we still have walking beat cops, right? So, you know, you knew your beat cop. He come running down the street, and, you know, it gets on the radio, and this is rush hour traffic in New York City. You know, an ambulance is going to be hours. So, yeah, goodness sakes, you might as well just die right there in the street before the ambulance is going to get there. So he picks me up, and he runs with me all the way to the hospital, carried me all the way to the hospital. And, you know, he never left my side till my parents got there. He stayed there, and every morning when I woke up, he was still there. And I remember looking at that man and saying, "That's my hero." that's who I'm going to be like. Took me a few years to get there, but eventually I did.
Another fine inspirational stories here, ain't they?
Yes.
That is good.
Very nice.
That's how it went, and that's how it started, and it was a lifelong dream. And now I'm living a dream. I'm getting to work with PAL kids. And by the way, I was a PAL kid when I was in New York. I played in PAL baseball and did PAL camps and PAL street cleanups and PAL fairs. So I was a PAL kid myself. PALs was started in New York City. So I was a PAL kid myself, and now I'm getting to turn around and give it right back to the community. And I think it's great. I think it's amazing. It truly is rewarding.
It truly is.
What all method you got to get the word out? Because until I seen your post on
Yes.
next door, is your neighborhood next door?
Yes, about my event.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So what I do again, PAL Soccer, I have 10 elementary schools involved. So they're kids from up to 5th grade, and we play a game or two during the week, and then for maybe 4 or 5 weeks after that, I do a big event, so which I call a soccer tournament. And I invite the police officer specialized units to go out there. So when the children are done with their last game, they get to enjoy the police officers and K9 and motors and other units that I'll have out there.
They get to crawl all over
Yes.
and stuff like
So
that.
of course, so I did post it on Nextdoor, and because everybody's invited, they don't have to participate, they don't have to play soccer, but we want the children to go out there and enjoy the officers.
So as much
Oh
of the
yes,
community as
as
possible.
much
I
as
guess.
as much as we can get out there, and citywide, not only south but citywide. That is next Saturday.
We have,
May
we have,
16th.
we're gonna put it up on
Yes.
the screen here in a little while. I did also notice on there you didn't have a lot of sponsors.
We didn't have a
I
lot
always
of
think
sponsors.
you'd had some corporate type.
Yes, we're working on that.
Well, the
We are.
Police Activities League is funded by our nonprofit
Yes.
board of directors, and we have sponsors that pay into that and give us money. Cops for Charities is a good example. They give us money through our foundation, and then we have money that comes from C3 Presents, the people who put on the music festivals here in town. They're our primary funder. They supply probably 90% of our funding throughout the year, along with some other generous donors throughout the year that supply funding for our programming.
But we do need more. Now that, again, we're bringing a lot more children into the programs, and
There it is.
there it is.
There it is.
Yes, that's the one. So definitely, sponsors are still welcome.
We're lucky to have it up there. You sent it to me, but with my advanced computer skills, I'm not exactly sure what I did with it.
Well, I'll be one to say that when they were interviewing for the current chief of police, I had the opportunity to be part of a small group that interviewed him, and that was one of the things that I suggested that he bring back the PAL program, because
Nice.
after a while I don't know why, but it wasn't there no more. And then it gradually started back, I guess with the boxing program.
Yes, see.
2008, we started with PAL boxing out of the Pan Am Recreation Center, where we still practice. Still practice.
There you go.
Still practice 4 days a week there, and now we have one there at Mendez Middle School as well that we have a boxing program there as well.
So now the sports is kind of like at Dove Springs. I remember I was sharing with. It started at South Austin Rec Center with Meadowbrook and
Okay.
Baldwin Oaks
Yes.
at that time.
Yes.
And yes, we also from Parks and Rec also recognize the value of that interaction between the parents and the kids, especially coming from those poor communities. A lot of times, for whatever reasons, just y'all's presence there was a deterrent for parents, if anything, So.
You mean the parents don't want to show up because it's cops around?
No, it was just for what it was just.
Yeah, I got warrants, and I still show up.
And the kids just love the interaction.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I have always preached, and hopefully maybe one day I'll get, is to have that same type of program, but at the high school level, like they do the Austin Fire Department, where there'll be PAL, like explorers. At
We
high
have police
school.
explorers in Austin.
No, but be PAL.
Well, we have, what I have.
Y'all have it through the Explorers, right?
Yes, that, we have the Explorer program, but also with soccer, I have middle and high school children involved as well. And not only do they play, select, but they're also referees. So when I do my youth, my young kids events, those high school kids are the referees to those. So those are the mentors for my little kids. So I do have all that involved, but we do have Explorers.
And we do, in all of our athletics, we serve kids between the ages of 8 and 20. So we won't allow, just because you turn into high school years, we don't really remove you or take you out of a program. I have boxers in our program now that are in their 21, 22 years old, and they, instead of being in the program, they help coach, and then they box as well.
And for me, it's more like hopefully get more people from our community to become officers.
Sure.
That was the objective back in the day.
Which is Explorer's objective.
You know, because for me, it's sad to say, well, like Billy Cifuentes used to be. I mean, that was, what, 10, 15 years ago? And I wrote this down because you mentioned walk beats in New York. And hopefully Austin's culture will get there one day because it's very valuable. You know, why not? Right now, I know that through Pals League and other programs that Austin is big, but it's not that big. You know, because you operate under districts, and it is nice to know when you're walking around that there is that PAL ongoing relationship, not only from a program but also in the community, and you feel safer. You know, so hopefully. I mean, I don't know, y'all aren't the ones that I should ask, you know, why is it that difficult or what the challenges are. But I've seen, and I'm glad that the POW program is back and that you all get more sponsors because it's a program that, you know, any investment in the long run pays off very, very well.
Absolutely.
You know, very well.
Well, they've done pretty good stuff out in Dust Springs. You know, that was like
Yes.
10, 15 years ago.
Yes.
So there's been a real change there, and not sure well, there's been many things that helped, but I'm sure the police community involvement was a big part of it.
Sure.
Jump in here, ma'am. You're not saying too much here.
I'll get it. I will. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I'll ask her a question.
She's our track officer. She's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Gloria down there, we all pretty much know Gloria, because she's been around for a long time.
Oh, gosh.
And so you do the track part.
Yes, that's one of the
That's one of
areas
the.
that I'm stepping into. Yes.
Yeah, well, I remember when in Bowling Oaks we used to have 3 or 4 strong young runners.
Wow.
And they weren't part of the POW program, but they were part of AAU or some kind of
Summer track.
Yeah, summer track. And but these are the type of support services that, you know, those sports, competitive sports, become expensive. You know,
Yes.
they're very expensive. Oh my
You
God,
think just,
the shoes, the shorts, you know,
Uniform.
Yeah, I guess
all
so.
the attire. But you have kids that are very talented and need that type of support, like the one y'all provide. It kind of gives them that bouncing platform to go there.
Kyle's help them get into their like shoes for soccer? Some of these people I know are financially strapped, you might say.
Yes. And again, we need those sponsors.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
That
we
was back-
Great, yeah.
We would love to be able to put shoes on every
Everybody,
child's foot, but it's not necessarily easy to do when you think about the huge numbers and volumes of kids that we serve. I think the number was a little over 1,100 last
But
month.
you're not like
so it's
the-
1,100 pair of shoes in a month.
You're not like the Banyu's Bears where they get bonds people to sponsor.
It'd be great if we could. I mean, wouldn't that be awesome to be able to do that? But we do our best. I mean, when we find a need, we work as a team to try to find somebody that'll help us fill that. If we find a kid that's really struggling and really needs something and needs help,
Right.
we'll find somebody that will help us help them. That's what we do. We're facilitators, and we'll try to facilitate in any way possible to get those kids what they need to be successful.
And can you imagine what that does to that one child?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
I mean, it makes him or her feel, hey, I earned this. I earned these shoes or whatever it is you try to get for them.
Oh, yes.
And I think working together, a lot of people don't realize one person can do a lot, but when you get different people working together, I think it's really wonderful because you put your ideas together, and can you imagine what you can do with those ideas? They grow and they keep growing.
Yes. Yeah, I have one school where the children that are thank you, that are participating, the children involved were not doing very well in school. Well, now they have a commitment that, okay, if you have to pass in order to play soccer.
Right.
If not, you won't. These children passed their STAR test. I was just told this
great,
last week.
yeah.
And the parent specialist was super happy because these kids were, that she thought they weren't going to make it. And with this program, they're there every Tuesday to play their game, and they pass their test.
Isn't
They're
that
very
amazing?
motivated.
Yes.
So it does make a difference.
And I keep telling people, these kids are our future.
Absolutely.
Who
Yes.
knows how far they can go?
Yes. And that's what we're there for.
And that's why we need to invest our time, a lot of ourselves,
Yes.
for these kids.
So how do they get enrolled in your program? Do they
I
call?
have so I have several seasons, and I meet with the parent specialist from every school, and I will schedule a registration day and a meeting with the parents. So we'll schedule that one date. I'll get there, and then that's where I do have registrations. We never have late registrations. So let's say a parent couldn't make it for that day, they can register anytime, as long as they fill out their form. And they're welcome. We don't say no to anybody. I mean, they're all welcome to play.
And what age groups do you?
Well, like you said, 8 to 20,
8 to
8 years old to 20. Right now, I have younger ones because it's my first months here. But after that, it'll be from 8 years old and up. Right now, I'm only doing elementary. Eventually, I want to go to middle schools and maybe do some indoor soccer. Also, just keep them busy. Just keep them
Well,
busy
having
even during
done
the summer.
youth leagues for 17 years myself,
Yes.
that age group is the one where you still have two dad. I mean, a mom and a dad.
Yes.
They come out, they look at the kids. Once you get to middle school, it becomes a little different. Once you're in high school, I remember when I took a team all the way to Tifton, Georgia, 15 years old. And I think if I got one parent to ask me where they were going,
Yes.
but those are the type of environments that we work in, and I'll never forget back in Metz in 1975, 76, when we had an officer. I couldn't remember his name, but he was always wanting to recruit me. Why don't you come join the APD? Why don't you come join the APD? That it wasn't in me at that time. So.
No, it wasn't.
Yes.
But I think that the program, I'm glad that it's back. And now in the tracks, do they compete with AAU, or they compete amongst themselves, or like she does within the
Previously,
schools?
the way it was set up is they did compete AAU track, and what we're looking at going forward is mirroring it more like soccer, where we are actually getting the younger kids. I want to work with the younger kids from the schools and go to the schools where they can easily get to practice and come and have fun.
Any young, talented kids out there that you work with currently that you see that might have a real good future because of their talent in track at this time?
There are kids out there with great ability, and they're currently with AAU track team, so and they're going to go far. They're going to be very successful. And I'm hoping to tap into kids that have an interest and may not even know their potential yet, but will have an opportunity to participate without having to, because they can afford to, whereas, track, it's going to be free, and then allow more kids to participate and see what they have to bring to the table. And then some of the AAU teams, if they want to pull those kids over and work with them and develop them even more, that'll be great. That'll be a great opportunity.
And you're also in the Dev Springs area, or you're pretty much throughout?
No, I am at Maine, and we want to grow our program, the PAL program, where we're going out and effectively reaching all over Austin area. But right now, Paula, the soccer started south there in Dove Springs area. We have the boxing, and we had track where we were meeting with an AAU team out at LBJ, basically. But I want something closer and serving more central East Austin and grow from there. And what we're doing actually right now, while soccer is on its way, wrapping up for the tournament, is we're planning our summer camp, our summer PAL Summer Leadership Camp. And that is for middle schoolers. And we take a select few that are referred to through parent support specialists in other schools. And Delia Gonzalez from Keeling will provide the list. We have a parent meeting scheduled, and that summer camp's going to take place in June 8th through the 25th. It's a 3-week camp that we're ramping up for now. So that's what we're focused on right now.
So y'all be having like what, 20 kids, 50 kids per camp, or?
We're looking at a max of 65, but it'll be in that range. I think in previous years it's been about 30 to 40 kids that youth, middle school age children that attend, and it's been rewarding. This year we have the opportunity to teach GREAT. Paula and I are both GREAT certified instructors, and that's the gang resistance education and training. So they're going to have that whole program during the summer camp, and they actually receive certificates and graduate. And in between doing that, we have other events that we're going to have them participate in, other activities.
Are these camps free, or how can folks get involved with the camps
It
or
is
sign
a
up?
free camp, and it's not really a lottery, but it's a selection. They're referred to, I guess, I don't know, she's titled the head parent support specialist, but Delia Gonzalez, aka D. Gonzalez, from Keeling, she actually works with other parent support specialists around the Austin area from AIS to
So there wouldn't be a child that would say, no, you can't be part of PAL because we're full.
We'll never turn a child
we
away.
won't.
No.
Away.
That was one of those tricky questions that we will never turn a kid away. However, these kids that have been coming into the
And
camp
that's important
traditionally.
for our public to know.
Oh,
that
yeah, absolutely,
It's always
never.
open, and I like what you said,
Yes.
if you miss the first 2 games, well, you can't play, no, you can still come
You're
in,
all-
you're
yes.
part of the program because
Yes.
it's more than just participation.
Yeah, this is about building bonds and relationships. This isn't really about. We use the athletics to bring the kids in,
Right.
but really what we're doing is we're building relationships between
Trust.
the department and the community to try to earn respect and to help those kids down the right path.
You grew up in a smaller town. The police in that smaller town, were they the type of officers that, I mean, you'd have in your kitchen eating or having supper and then they
Well,
go off again? Or?
Well, in McAllen, the valley, we didn't live close to the city. We were far.
Oh, okay.
So being a big family and having only
roll
one car,
everything
my friends were my sisters and brothers. So I really didn't go out, and I didn't really see the police that much. So I can't answer that question because I was very far from that environment. Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in the valley. It's nice down there.
Yes.
It's different. Of course, now we had that little problem with the Panama unit, but
Yeah.
Well, you
we won't
mentioned,
go there.
you mentioned migrant worker. I remember as well.
Yeah.
Those rows, endless rows.
Oh yes.
Tomatoes. We did cotton,
Okay.
tomato, onions.
Yeah.
Drag the big bag behind you.
And then every summer in May, there'd be 5 or 6 families that would call up to
Yes.
to
That
Illinois,
was, that
Indiana,
was us. We went to
Michigan,
Tennessee.
cherry, pickle,
Yeah, strawberries.
strawberries.
Yes.
The last year my family went, I was still young, so I didn't get to participate in the work. But here
Our
in Texas,
summer were
Yeah.
go work. That was our summer
there were
vacation.
every large ranch, if you will, had their own little homes, and
Yeah.
the rancher was your renter, your food stocker, and
Yeah.
everything.
Everything. Yeah.
He was,
What?
I could ask, you work with all schools, you don't turn down any kids, charter schools,
Oh, I know,
public
I know.
schools,
but
I
all that?
have charter
we
schools,
didn't.
yes.
I didn't get I went on rambling and I didn't.
Well,
If you
well,
did,
before
you
you ramble
mentioned.
more-
Well, I wanted to find out how and when these programs started. Summer camp.
Well, I've
So
got to
people,
ask him to define some of these what you call it, AAU,
Oh yeah, those are the.
and these kind of things. I mean, you know, my kids are, my youngest is like 25 already, and so I haven't been around this kind of thing in a long time. So what are these, what's that mean?
AAUs, that's amateur athletics.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the name of the sport that sanctioned the
And
sport.
that's any school, charter, parochial, anything, or?
Yeah, well, AAU is just.
It's like select.
And you
It's like a
all are
governing agency.
certified in-
That's what it is.
Yeah.
AAU is like select, so it's outside of the school districts. You don't have to, you can run unattached or
On alone.
different teams that's alone, or you can be with a team that's registered with the AAU.
So, the Crockett High School has a track team, and that's not AAU.
No, that's UIL. When you're talking about the, when you're talking about athletics.
Come on now.
I can get a little higher.
No.
It's simply the licensing. It's the
It's a-
licensing people
it's
that
a sanction,
govern. It's the
yeah.
governing body that governs over the programs.
Something tells me this has to do with money.
Yes.
Well, of course.
Because it's select. Yeah, it's
And
like-
select,
like select players, let's say,
Yeah.
the ones that are very talented and they've had the training, so they actually pay to compete in other cities or other.
do they compete with the Crockett track team, or?
Yeah.
No, because
Well, see, in the summer,
Yeah.
high schoolers can do AAU.
That's right, you get to do all this stuff.
Right. But you need to be real careful, if you're in high school, that you don't violate UIL rules because you may
Exactly.
become ineligible.
yes.
Okay.
Sounds like you want me to think now, damn.
Yeah. Well, those are the answers to your
Go there.
questions. That's what the acronym AAU is. For, but it probably should track. Yeah.
And the other one, you said you and Paul are both certified great instructors, or,
Great instructors, yes, that's,
I mean, like, y'all are great people, or?
we are great people. Our unit is
Oh,
We
great.
develop great
Awesome.
And when
students.
did PAL start?
Exactly. Pardon me?
When did PAL start?
In Austin or in general?
In Austin.
Austin started in 2008.
Okay.
PAL
We
started
didn't
in.
have that back when I was a volunteer with APD.
PAL started officially in New York City in 1914.
Okay. Because I don't remember hearing about it.
What year did you say? Let me get back, because I remember when I was in the commissioner's
What-
court, when I was at South Austin Rec Center in 1990. Yeah, 1990. We had PAL.
So we had a PAL program
Yeah.
before under a previous chief.
Right.
It ended many years ago,
Yeah,
and then we
right,
had
right.
a
So, yeah,
long,
but it
long
was
time with no
1990.
PAL.
With
And
Paul
then-
Vogel and Fred Rodriguez.
And then in
Les
2008,
Vogel, and then
Chief
resurrected
Acevedo
him.
said
Yeah,
he
brought it
wants
back.
PAL and exploring, and so he teamed us to get up together, and they both started in 2008.
Oh, 2008.
And like I mentioned, going to Gloria. Gloria is president of Pedernales Community. adjacent
Neighborhood
to,
Association.
HEB on 7th Street. And is a member of the coalition of El Concilio Mexican American Neighborhood Association.
It is, HEB is?
No.
Her
Pedernales Neighborhood Association.
So,
Let me get all excited there.
want to tap on her.
And I love to eat, so I love the HEB. And it's only a block away. And do you know that when I go there, I drive the van?
A
I
block
don't
away?
walk a block away. I don't know why, but sometimes I need to start walking. But anyway, sometimes I go to one place. I think, you know what? I need to go over here, or I need to go over there. And hey, I got to go to the cleaners.
Yeah.
I think
And I
they
make
need a
my-
PALS program for elderly people.
She also rides her bike.
Wow.
I have a
Her
three-wheel.
bike.
Remember I rode it
That's
on
right.
on
The
the
parade.
parade?
And the veterans.
Yeah,
Nice.
and that was fun. But I haven't ridden it for a while. But I'm trying to get it back in shape.
Well, tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up.
I grew up right here in East Austin, and I was born at Brackenridge Hospital. At the time, it was a little bitty building. Anyway, and IH-35 was called East Avenue, right? East Avenue, and it was like a boulevard. Yeah.
Showing your age.
And I remember it. No, but I remember it. And I remember,
Farm school and all that, yeah.
yeah. But I started going to school at Metz, the old school.
You were involved in police activities.
Yes, I was in
Community.
'98. when Belcones moved into our area on 6th and Pedernales, that's when I started getting the community involved and getting petitions and all. And that was my first experience to go before city council, and I liked it, and I've been at it since then.
What motivated you to get involved in the neighborhood as in depth that you do?
Well, because in the beginning, people were not aware of what was going on around. And I was becoming aware of things, and I wanted to share that with everybody. So for a while, only 2 elderly couples would come to my little meetings. And I thought, gosh, what can I do? So anyway, I started promoting the meetings, and I started handing out certificates with the Pedernales Neighborhood Association, and thank you for keeping your front yard clean and presentable. We appreciate it. Like a little
Always
certificate type
important.
thing. I'm sorry?
Always important.
It
Keep your
is.
front yard
It is,
cleaned up.
because I was giving them credit. And this one lady, Mrs. Soto, she used to tack them with a thumbtack on the front door, and you couldn't even see the door for all the certificates she got.
Aw.
She was so happy. She wanted to show them
nice
off to
pet.
anybody that approached her door. And so that made me feel good. And then I got some free tortillas because she would make them every morning. And she'd call me on the phone, and she was just a few houses from me. Moreno, she never called me Gloria, always Moreno. I made some tortillas. Come get you a couple. So I'd run down there and eat with her, and then run right back. I didn't have to take my vehicle for that. A few houses away. But anyway, and I did a lot of extra walk because I've been at this for about 18 years. And before my arthritis set in and this other thing set in, I was a lot more active.
And
And-
y'all were real instrumental in downzoning a lot of your
Yes.
property. It was light industrial.
It was light
When you got
industrial,
involved, y'all rolled them
and
back.
that's because when I kept asking, why did the city permit Balcones Recycling Center to move there right across the street from us? I mean, here we are, residents, we have senior citizens, children, families, and one of the ladies from the city said, because y'all are all light industrial. And I said, what do you mean? What does that mean? So after she explained it, then I checked with Gavino, my mentor, and he explained it. And I said, well, what can we do? So he suggested that I start the process to get the city council to downzone us. So I did. I went from house to house, explained where we were, why we were there, why they were there across the street. And it took at least an hour with each family till they understood. And
It's a lot of time and effort in your community.
but it was worth it because Gus Garcia, Mayor Pro Tem at the time, downzoned us. And we became SF3, which is single family residential area. Even the few people that didn't want to downzone, they got downzoned. Because he wasn't going to downzone one house and skip 2 or 3 and, So, nope, everybody's downzoned except for the commercial areas. And we're surrounded by commercials, by 7th Street corridor, by the railroad tracks. The kids in our community have to cross 7th Street corridor with, at the red light to get to the swimming pool, the rec center, any activities they have. Just to go to the library, they have to cross Pleasant Valley. And that right now is very busy.
Oh, yeah.
So they
It's
have
very
to be
nice
careful.
out there
there.
though now.
Yes,
Very
it is.
pretty.
Yes. And East Austin has always been beautiful.
Oh yes.
We've got the trees, we've got the peaceful
Lake.
communities. People are they just love living in our
It's
communities.
very nice.
That's the area of housing
and you
places
have
out there now, yeah.
you have received a lot of support from the commanders meetings, from Officer Rodriguez.
Yes.
You work real closely with.
I was an
on many-
APD volunteer, and I did one of my 2-hour turns was with 911. And I sat there, I couldn't speak, and I was just trying to holler to the phone, but I had to listen. That was the only thing I could do. this woman called in and her husband was outside and he wanted to stab her, and I thought, oh my God, lady, leave the guy or whatever, you know. But I mean, I get real emotional, and I have a lot of passion for things that I do, because to me, if you don't do it with love and passion, don't even bother.
Sure.
And I see that passion in you guys.
Yes.
I
Yes,
really
we do
do.
have
Thank
I
you.
it just reeks out to anyone that's around you.
Well, I did
Okay,
shower
you're not
today.
gonna
I hope
get
you're
that
not talking
ticket.
about that.
You're not gonna get that ticket after all.
No,
I showered before I came. I don't know. It wasn't me. It
No,
might,
it's what you project from the inside
Yes,
that I try to, you know, size you up, sort of. But I do that with people because I trust everybody. But then later I get disappointed and hurt, but
Sure.
that's because I get so involved.
Did I hear you were in the Citizens Police Academy?
Yes, I was.
Which class?
I was in the 32nd session, and Joe Munoz was our leader there, and that was, oh, I had more fun there. And we had one couple that they were researching to write novels, and the police chief.
Novel writers and the, never mind.
Okay, but anyway, this lady wanted to write mysteries, so she wanted to take the class to learn all about our police department, and we got to every department except for the horses, but the canine department came, the narcotics came, and we saw all the paraphernalia, and he let us smell some of it, you know, in the room. No, I mean.
And she's still talking about reeking.
No,
No
really,
wonder, huh?
no, and then the one that I mean, we went through a lot of the department. It was a 12-week program, and they still have it, but they have it downtown at Central, and but this was out there at the police academy,
Yes.
off of what was that?
McKinney Falls.
Right, past McKinney Falls down there.
Weren't you something like that, cops, or weren't you had another organization, right?
Yeah, it was the counter the cop watch.
Cop watch.
Oh,
We would, you know, years before Anthony Buell and all that, they used to have this group out of Berkeley, California, would come in and film y'all. And so we would go and film them, film y'all too, and show how you can do it. And the cops were always, they'd come show us the crack pipe and all this kind of stuff. And they never had any problem. But these kids are always about, you know, the cops are always bad. They do never see you, as Gloria says, the day-to-day things that officers have to do, the wrecks. My neighbor's dog's barking. My neighbor cut my tree down.
Sure.
All these, you know, day-to-day calls that you get that are, and like you say, the officer that got you as a kid.
Well, you
And
know
there's
that
always
the
time.
officers here in the United States are 24/7.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why none of them
and
live in
my
town,
friend,
I guess, huh?
my friends and families in Monterrey, who all of them are police officers from mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, the whole. But at 5 o'clock, it's over.
Was that right?
Yes, sir. I mean, they can be robbing someone down the street, and it's 5:30. Hey, good luck. But you know, it's and a lot of that contributes to the corruption because they're not paid well and all this other good stuff. But yeah, that's a very big difference, and I wasn't aware of that until one day they told me. Yeah, I said, once 5 o'clock, these things
They're
gone.
all big, yeah.
And,
goodness.
you know, so if they see something, you know.
That is-
But that's not to say that all of them are not going to do anything, but
No.
legally they're not obligated to.
I've always,
Get
at
involved.
times I've said in some ways you're freer down in Mexico. You get a ticket there, you just cop $10 and go. Here you get a cop 150, but it goes through all this bureaucratic process.
The judge, the court clerk, and,
And then
the
finally,
AC.
some of it goes to
And
the
at
cop's
the,
salary.
that's what I say. At the end of the day, you still got to pay.
Yeah,
So
you
might as
gotta
well
pay.
just give them that $50 and buy. You know.
Then they get-
Yeah,
Yeah, then you get-
with,
With the pal.
yeah. We usually do get.
They get a lot of money at the courts.
They got what?
They get a lot of money, court
You
fees.
see them lined up out there?
I know. And they have to pay for all kinds of counseling. I mean, they don't have any more money to go buy beer to drive drunk because they're using their money
Yeah.
to pay for the short program, to pay for counseling, to pay for all the
You don't get your
individual
car out
counseling.
of hellfire,
let,
you-
let me ask this one question because I know that when I was involved with the PAL program, the PAL program didn't end at 5 or 6 or 7. For a lot of these families, a lot of these families that were engaged in PAL programs. You know, because of the rapport that they established during the interleagues, whatever, oftentimes parents, like you mentioned, felt comfortable in calling the officer and sharing whatever concerns he or she had with whatever issue, versus just ignoring it and just letting it, well, that's the way we do things around here.
Yeah, I had a parent yesterday. She got a virus on her phone from FBI and paid $500. She was ready to pay those $500. She was, and this is a hardworking mom, single mom. And I said, no. I said, let's see what's going on here. I was able to help her
If it's the
taking
FBI,
off
they
that
don't
virus
say
off her
give you
phone.
money and I'll turn the
But
thing
she
back
was
on.
because, again, a lot of times they're afraid of anything that has to do with law enforcement. And it's like, oh my God, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm going to pay that money. And on the phone, it was asking her for her credit card information and all that. So she was almost a victim of identity
I'm
theft.
glad you caught it.
And
Call with that.
yes, and I'm glad she called. She
Right,
called me.
yes.
She had that.
And if she hadn't
trust
had
and-
that trust with you,
Yes.
hadn't built that
She would've
relationship,
called-
would've-
she would've
So that's
paid
what
and
I'll
stuff
ask.
like
How
that.
much interaction do you have with the parents of these kids?
Oh, a lot.
A lot?
All the time.
I know my.
Sometimes the parents need it as bad as the kids.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say, you know, a lot of times the sports is more, the problems are more with the parents than with the kids, you know.
Yes,
They get
but-
so much into
but
it.
that's
we know
what we're
that from
there.
the education thing too.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's what we're there, and again, we enjoy it because you know that child. We really make a difference in that child's life. We really do.
Well, and
And
the
in
family
families,
overall.
yeah.
I think that
Families.
also in the family.
Yes,
Because
yes.
like I say, you know, I remember at Bowling Oaks and Meadowbrooks was one of the very toughest, if you will, back in the day. You know, real unsafe, very, you know, it did cause deterrence. And there were deterrents, you know. Some of the kids would come and eventually mom and pop showed up. And like you say, they volunteered, they ran the concession stand or they officiated or they coached and whatnot. But I think that a lot of them seeing y'all as a support base,
Yes.
you know, is something real positive.
Without our parents, we wouldn't be able to do half
Oh,
the things
yes.
we do. We need the parents' support and involvement to make these programs work. We really do.
We do, and we also get, in doing our program, we get other involvement from other community entities. Like we did a basketball camp clinic in April. We had so many different volunteers other than just our, some of our police officers, but we had Keeling Men's Group. We had some other
The
Frost
Austin
Bank,
Spurs were there.
Austin Spurs, and so many different entities involved in just showing these kids that you matter and we care. And just if one kid takes one nugget from that, we had 2 guest speakers that had phenomenal stories, just inspirational stories for the kids, and it was just, we had just over 126 kids there from ages 8 to 18, and that camp ran, but at the end of the day, kids were tired, but they interacted with each other. People from outside of the Austin area, we had kids from all over coming to the camp. You mentioned charter schools, and we had some kids from Manor, Round Rock, Pflugerville, Austin area. It was just great.
Do any of y'all enter the coaching role?
Yeah, I do
I
that
mean,
sometimes.
Fred Rodriguez thought he was Bobby Knife when he was out there coaching basketball, you know. So.
Yes, we do. I mean, we do a little bit of everything.
We do what we can. You
Yeah,
know, it's
well,
whatever we need. We're the guy that they say, hey, we need this, and we
Yeah.
go do whatever it is needed. You know, we'll fill the holes. We get a lot of volunteer help with our coaching, and you know, God bless our volunteers because they really make these programs run, and they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart.
You mentioned the Spurs. When I was doing back in the day, we had a real good rapport with San Antonio. They would bring out what's it, a fox or what is it, their mascot?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they would come out to our basketball games. So they have a public relations office that I don't know who they're hooked up with today, but back in the day it was with the South Austin Youth Basketball Association out there by Covington and that whole area. So I don't know how much involved there are still with basketball or any of your programs, but
We got very lucky. We actually have a member of the Spurs organization on our board of directors. So we actually have them involved, and they're heavily involved in trying to find ways for us to be able to reach out with basketball and involve their team and their mascots. And they come out and do all sorts of things with us. They come out to Blue Santa and help us when we do that. They come out to our basketball things and support that. They support just about all of our athletic programs. So they've been really good to hook up with and really have been involved.
do y'all have UT involved with y'all?
UT is not involved in our board, but they come out and help us with programming.
With programs, yeah.
They were out at basketball and things like that.
Because what's his name is now at the Department of Diversity or whatever. Quarterback, what's his name? Texas quarterback was last one that won the national championship for Texas. That's embarrassing. Vincent Young.
Yeah.
Vincent Young is now at the University of
There's
Texas
more up there.
Department of Diversity.
Oh, really?
Yes, and you can hook up with him. And he came out to the UT Elementary fundraising. Yeah, so he's a good source that you might want to.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, absolutely. We've been really blessed to have a lot of people in the community that are willing to just come out and they'll do whatever. They'll just do whatever needs to be done to help these kids. And you know, the community support is amazing. It's amazing how many people will just do whatever it
You
needs.
said you were a PAL.
I was a PAL participant. I was a PAL kid. I can tell you PAL works because I'm living proof. I'm proof right here that PAL works.
Recreation product.
Yeah, I am.
I was born and raised right next to Pan Am. That was the only facility in the 60s that had air conditioning. We were all there. But I'll never forget one day, one lady, she meant it in a nice way. She said, "Yeah, I know him. I knew him growing up in the streets." I said, "Okay."
Oops.
But it was unintentional. You know, from her, it was kind of like coming from a totally different.
Yeah.
You know, but I said, okay, I did go up in the streets and all that. But, so then I began working at rec centers. And I always made a point myself not to stay at one more than 5 years. So I went from Pan Am to Santa Rita to Mets to Montopolis. Montopolis, nobody wanted to go.
Yeah.
You know, a position would open and nobody wanted to
Really?
apply to Montopolis. And
Because
at
they're
the
super
same
busy,
time, I
too.
was whining that we wouldn't get a full-time job. I said, oh, okay, guess what? We got a full-time job. You want it? It's in Montopolis. Yeah, I'll take it. You know, hey, you know, you only live once. So.
I used to like the break dancing. They used to do those competitions
Oh,
at
yeah.
Montopolis.
Great dance competition at the rec
Yes,
center.
that was fun. That was
Well, with
nice.
5 minutes left.
These are young kids. They're not breaking their hips. They're actually it's a little different.
Do kids even still break dance?
I don't know. That
I'd
was a
love
lot
to
of
see
fun.
them
Oh,
do
I
it.
love, yes. We're going to
Yeah.
get a team together, watch a pal
Oh,
break
I
dance.
bet you can do it. And you
Either
know,
that or karaoke day, or we could do something fun. I
and
think.
you
A lot
know
of
what?
fun.
Yeah, we need to get
Right.
something into.
We should. We should.
And I believe that communication and passion and education is very important, whether you're with the PAL program, whether you're where you disseminate information too. That's good for the listeners. And with El Concilio, our director, Gavino Fernandez. And in my neighborhood, I have I have a newsletter that's called Extra Extra. Read all about it.
Oh, nice.
And it goes out like maybe twice a year, and I put on there all the information that I'm getting, so that it'll go. And then I get donations to make copies, so that every household
Oh,
can
nice.
get that information, because it's important.
Sure.
I know that a lot of the people can get it from the internet, but what I like to do too is add a little sentence, of my own,
Sure.
like
Nice.
not at our expense,
up a little
something like that.
Yeah.
Let's get. I'd like to plug this next Saturday. Coming up, we got what, 3 or 4 minutes left, 3.5. What else? That park is always closed.
Well, it's a private
Oh, is it?
property. The Austin Men's Soccer Association is the one that runs that.
You always see cars parked out there and
So-
they can't get in.
Yes, because they shouldn't be there. So the park is only open on weekends, which is
It'll be open.
Saturday and Sunday.
Hot dogs.
We're just
cold
hoping
beer.
for
Yes, no cold beer.
we're hoping for good weather. That's what we're praying for now.
Yes.
We don't want bad weather to
We don't
prevent
want
that.
bad weather, and everybody's invited. Please join us.
I'll
It's
see if
going
I
to be a
can get over
great
there.
event. Please, please do so.
That's your hood over there.
Yeah, I gotta get wife to work.
But it's coming to your hood too, so come out and see what it's all about.
That's right. Remember, we're open to everybody,
Yes,
and
we're
we're
open.
citywide.
So,
And
Ms.
I think
Moreno,
that's
please
important
join us.
that our
Okay.
listeners know that you are open.
Yes.
And that, you know,
Everybody.
if you live on Mesa Drive and you want to be part of the POW program, come on
Absolutely.
down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that that's not only the interaction with APD, but interaction with other people from throughout the community, you know, at their young.
Or if you live on Mesa Drive and you wanna help.
Yes, there we
Yes.
go. Volunteers are always welcome.
You
As
know,
far as I
always
got one more time, I couldn't, didn't know if I read it right. Read all the, what, you turned it off? She turned the computer off. All the sponsors you had.
Are y'all looking for any increase in funding this year? Or
absolutely. We are a nonprofit 501c3, so your contributions could be tax
No, I'm talking
deductible.
about from the budget, the city budget.
We don't get funding from the city budget for
General
our
fund at
programming.
all.
Absolutely not. We do everything through our nonprofit.
For your activities or for your salaries as well?
Our salaries come from the city, so
Okay.
we're paid for by the
Oh,
city.
okay.
We're police
But
officers. We're
for your
funded through the police
programs-
department budget, but our programming itself is all funded through our nonprofit. And of course, that we're always looking for donations, and donations can be sent to any one of us.
We
Just
can
got to
get
come
some
down
of
to
that-
us.
That money that they use, you know, when they confiscate stuff, you know, directly.
Wouldn't that be nice? A little bit of, the federal government has put a lot of regulations on those funds now. A lot of
That's
rules.
the Panama unit we were talking about earlier.
Well, you know what we want? We want a recreational RV so that we respond to neighborhoods in our RV with basketball, with bring the sports to the neighborhood. So that's
an
one
idea.
dream that he has,
We-
or that we all have.
We worked on a PAL trailer for PAL days, which
Convert
is one
of
thing
your
we're looking
SWAT.
at.
Convert one
Hey,
of your SWAT.
we don't-
Well, it's not that.
For right
so,
now.
but it is SWAT. What it is it's us running into a neighborhood that needs us and needs help. And where those kids are, and you're right, we're that SWAT team that's going to jump in there and bring in the basketballs and the track and the soccer balls and say, let's play ball today in this street instead of committing a crime. Let's do something productive
Going to those
instead of doing
parks.
something wrong. We're going to keep your kids busy.
Yes.
And that's exactly what it is. We're looking for, we want a big trailer, be able to put lights and flashy symbols on it and pull it with some kind of truck that we can hopefully get somebody to donate, and we'll go into those communities and see you there.
I'll tell the chief, no more helicopters.
There we go.
we want an RV for the
Take
POW
care of
program.
your PAL
Yeah.
program, right?
Anyway, I appreciate y'all coming
Thank you,
on.
sir.
And I hope we got some information out for you there, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, folks.
Bye. Thank you.